Welcome to Tooltech Geek. I want to talk about reviews of multi-tools from the smallest to the biggest. If somebody were to search, if they put in Google multi-tools 2024, what would they find? Which ones are more frequently mentioned? And I think I found something interesting, which is the ones mentioned in the web may be different than the ones mentioned on YouTube in the EDC channels. So I want to dig a little deeper. So what I did is I just put multi-tools 2024 on Google, and of course it gives you a list of sites results. So I put those URLs in a spreadsheet kind of to organize it. So we have the reviewer. Some are very famous, like the New York Times Wirecutter. They usually recommend good stuff. And then there's others that are very highly ranked in the Google search, and then there's kind of some that I never heard about. Some are a little bit of brands like, I don't know, Better Home and Gardens, that's a brand that some people may know. Wired, Forbes famously consulted with max level EDC, so that's kind of an interesting one. And then others are just regular websites, but I kind of wanted to sample a bunch of them. So what do you find? So these pages are pretty much all the same. They will have a title and then a picture with a bunch of multi-tools. Very almost like following a template. So then what I did is, for each of these pages I just wrote down the tools I mentioned in no particular order. Some of them rank them as best, second best, etc. Some of them rank them by a application, like best small multi-tool, best for camping, so on and so forth. I just wrote down all the ones I mentioned, and then I put them in a CSV file. So this is like a Excel file kind of, where in the first row I put the page, and then the tools in the column, and then this is saved as the text file, and the fields are separated by comma. This is a very common format in data science because it's easy to read and write. So I use it because it's very standardized. For the next step, which is I use Python. So it's a programming language. I'm using a Jupyter notebook and import some libraries. Pandas is one to use for analyze data. Then NumPy is for number stuff. So I read the CSV into a data frame, and this is a data frame. So the data frame has these column names and then the tools. And then I check what are the columns just to make sure they are okay. And then I found a problem. If you some of those have numbers, and I replace them with spaces, just a technicality. The other is I just I wrote down the list of unique names, and I figured out that I entered some names a little wrong. Like, for example, here I capitalized a T for the charge TTI, and here I didn't. So I have some tools that are the same but with different names because of a typo, or because I just was not consistent on how I enter it. Like here I put dual force with a space, and here I put it with a dash. So that's not gonna help with counting. So I need to fix that. So what I did is to replace. So I, for example, this one that has a typo, I replace it with the one without a typo. And then here it has a space, I replace it without space to be more consistent. So then in the end I end up with the same list with just one name for each tool. This list continues. Here I'm just showing an example because it's much longer. So then I did some just manipulation to have a the tools all in one column, and then I did a count. So basically, how many times a tool is mentioned in all these reviews. And the winner was the Wave Plus, Leatherman Wave Plus. It was mentioned 14 times in all these websites. So that was kind of the most frequently mentioned. Second most mentioned was the Leatherman Signal, 10 times. Then Gerber Dime was 8 times. Then you have a kind of a tie between the Leatherman Free P4 and the Skeletool and Skeletool CX. So all of these have 6. Then for 5 we have the Leatherman Arc, Gerber Dual Force, and the Gerber Armbar Drive. And then you start having a lot of large kind of groups, like mentioned 4 times, a lot of Victorinox. And here you can see all the names. Though all of these are the ones that are mentioned more than once. And then this is a list of the ones that are mentioned once. So it's a kind of long list. So, and then if you want to summarize all that, you can do like a big plot where the y-axis is number of times mentioned, the x-axis is a tool, and the wave is mentioned 14 times. I use a logarithmic scale because then you can see a little bit more the trend. If this was a linear scale, you would just see big numbers, and then all the small numbers here you cannot distinguish. So 10 to the 0 means 1. So these are all the ones mentioned 1 time. It's a very long list. And then you have 2 times. And then this is like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anyway. So this was pretty much dominated by a lot of like Leatherman, Gerber, a lot of Victorinox. In particular, the knives, like the smaller knives and then some slightly bigger ones. I didn't notice too many of the new tools like the Roxxon Flex. It is mentioned, but not too many times. Let's see if I can find it here. Some SOG, Power Access, Power Pint. It was interesting as an exercise. I don't know if we should give too much importance to these reviews. Some of them are kind of copy and paste from the previous year, obviously. Some of them mention tools that don't exist anymore, are discontinued. So clearly they just put 2024, but it actually isn't. So it's just a lot of copy and paste from old stuff. But some are kind of more interesting than others. I don't know. It was interesting to see how these multi-tools are represented in websites, and my opinion is very different than what you can find in the YouTube channels, like in HVAC Budget or Max Level EDC or other ones that look at multi-tools. I think they will be more representation of a lot of newer tools that maybe are lesser known, I guess, outside of the EDC circle, because they are very new. Like this year, there's lots of things they came out, so it didn't really get through to these websites, or maybe this indicating that these websites maybe they're less relevant. Maybe they don't invest too much in researching the latest of the latest, because people are more gravitating to social media, to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. So I don't know, maybe there's a lot of to be interpret, analyzed, but it was kind of fun, a geeky thing to do, a lot of coding. It was a bit of work to compile the table initially, but it was fun. So hope you enjoy seeing this analysis. And do you agree that the Leatherman Wave Plus should be the most mentioned? Everybody has their favorite tools, so I'm sure people may disagree with this ranking, but that's what I found in those numbers. Thank you for watching.